Okay, welcome back. It's early May 1864, and this will be part one of the turn where I kind of explain the current situation in detail, the moves that I have currently planned, and sort of some overall thoughts on strategy. So we'll kind of just start off here at the top and then work our way down. Um, we have Mosby here who, oops, sorry about that. Let's get him up here again. We have Mosby here who is going to go up to Fredericktown. Um, and basically the idea is on the next turn he will attempt to destroy the railroad here, and we're going to play a role-playing card to blow the depot at Harper's Ferry, assuming the town is lightly defended. Coming down a little bit, let's take a look at kind of where things are. There's a large force here that's basically led by Meade, so all the forces are sort of stacked into Meade, and that is the, um, it seems it's like a bit strangely named. It's called Burnside's Corps. It's led by General Meade, as you can see. There's several divisions there. In addition to that, the actual army there's another army group that is led by Grant, and then there appears to be kind of like an artillery force as well, that is led by Tyler. Now over here, there's another corps led by Hancock, who's very, very, very good, as you can see. And then we have Sheridan in the back here with the cavalry corps. So here are our defensive dispositions. Defending in Fredericksburg, we have Johnson with 2 divisions, and those 2 divisions includes 5 batteries of artillery. Now, Fredericksburg defends against a major river, the Rappahannock, and we're currently at level 5 trenches, so pretty well entrenched. So that's what we have in Fredericksburg. Just to the west in Albemarle County, we have our 2 corps, one led by Rhodes with 3 divisions. Now, all of our divisions are slightly understaffed, and that's kind of intentional. And it seems that since we have a lot of replacements, these divisions are sort of getting their missing regiments back. So they're all kind of like basically slightly under. In addition, we don't really have enough forces to have these as completely full divisions. So I'd rather have 3 slightly understaffed divisions than 3 completely full divisions. Excuse me, 2 full divisions and a half division. That's what I'm trying to say. Anderson is one of our better division generals. He's actually taking over the artillery division, and then we have Early and Field. Who's in Field's division is pretty light, as you can see. In addition, we have another division that's even a little lighter, which makes me nervous, led by Alexander, who's been we've taken away his artillery division and given it to Anderson, who is actually a much better general. Now, it's kind of hard to see here in this region or this county, but this is where Stewart is with 2 divisions, mostly cavalry divisions. Officially, Hampton's division is now mixed because it includes Thomas's brigade, which has some very, very fast, very, very, very fast infantry. As you can see here, even though this is the Highland Rangers are on foot, their speed is fastest. So Stewart's 2 divisions can basically support 3 areas: Fredericksburg, Albemarle, and of course Richmond, which is actually very lightly defended. We have Breckinridge's understaffed division here. We have Morgan, who's a tiny cavalry division, and then the forces that really lock Lee into place. We are sending supply units there, and the few other forces that are on the way will fill in, including the Maryland Line Brigade, which actually just formed in Charlottesville. We'll blow the depot here and then rail to Richmond to get out of the way of Meade. Now, we're not going to defend Charlottesville, even though it is a strategic town, mainly because I think it spreads us too thin to like a massive assault, and we wouldn't be able to properly. I just don't think we could hold it. I think there's a decent chance we can hold this, for at least, for at least through the summer. We'll see. Now, of course, historically, there was a massive battle right here, Wilderness, Spotsylvania, and then we kind of talked about this last term moving on down. And so we'll actually see, of course, what happens in the game. Now, moving a little farther south, we have AP Hill, who has about 2 divisions, again, slightly understaffed, just slightly though, and even a more understaffed Petersburg area. I don't think we're facing necessarily huge forces here. There is a very large peninsula force that's effectively led by Butler. They're really commanded by Gilmore here. Okay, so we're going to attempt to really hold North Carolina. So we are sending an empty general down to join the forces in Wilmington. And we're also sending one of our cavalry divisions, I'll explain Burger in a minute, one of our very small cavalry divisions to North Carolina to kind of be able to counter the threat here. Beauregard will come up from Charleston for just a moment, or just a turn really, so he can become close enough to Lee to become a detached corps, and then we'll return to Charleston, South Carolina. So speaking of Charleston, South Carolina, we are going to send one of our cavalry regiments kind of on down, and let me flip over to a different control so we can see who controls. But we want to be able to start taking back control of this region. In addition, this is the regiment that will be destroying that extra depot near Suffolk, Virginia, that we currently control as well. And then we're going to do some recruitment here. We're going to recruit a small brigade. Basically, the same thing will happen down here in Savannah. We are recruiting a small brigade as well. Moving on farther down south, one of our cavalry divisions will temporarily take over control of Pensacola, which is a strategic town. And I've made a decision that we are going to basically kind of form a cavalry corps that will be led by Wheeler here, that will attempt to take back some of these rogue, essentially not rogue, but some of the towns that we have lost. So both Wheeler and this understaffed, actually it's not that one, I think it's this one. Yeah, Major's partial cavalry division. They're going to kind of like move on down to Florida, and we will be trying to initially take back Tallahassee, which is a strategic town. So the first turn, they're going to basically arrive here in Alabama, Georgia, and then we'll be a few regions away from kind of getting back to Tallahassee. It doesn't look like there's any really much defending Tallahassee there, so hopefully it will stay like that. Up here, kind of like really looking at this in detail, this is a kind of like a very disorganized Union force led by Sherman with the maximum command penalty. I'm assuming that will be restructured to be more efficient. We will see. We're currently defending in the mountains here, so this is kind of what we're dealing with. You can sort of hover over and sort of really get some details. So on the defense, we don't have any penalty for our regular infantry, which is great. Of course, on the offense, there's a rather large penalty. You can see they're at 55% there, and our effectiveness on defense is actually much higher in artillery. Is actually much higher in artillery as well. So we are hoping that we will be able to effectively hold this line and use the terrain to our advantage. Sorry, didn't mean to go that far west. The other sort of general plan is that we want to hold this line against the river, and we're going to send one of our brigs down to Mobile, Alabama, which will give us 4 naval units, which at any given time from Mobile, Alabama, we can move up and block this river crossing. Our Mobile squadron, currently has an ironclad and then 2 gunboats. So by bringing a brig in, we do lose that income through blockades, but we're able to, we'll be able to, with 90% certainty, blockade this river from enemy forces crossing, which will be very, very effective. I haven't really fully figured out what to do with Forrest's infantry division, so for the moment, I'm going to basically blow this railroad and kind of move back to Meridian to watch the area. Down here in Mobile, you can see we're bringing our disparate forces together. In addition, we are also recruiting another one of those small, very, very, very tiny infantry brigades. In Texas and Louisiana, we got quite a bit going on. Shelby and Waddy are well on their way to arriving in Houston. In fact, Shelby, in theory, could arrive in 11 days. We're going to kind of basically restructure our forces here, where the Texas, our Texas department here will basically hold Galveston for the moment, and then our other forces will move out to Houston to take over defenses there. What we're trying to do is get, in addition to, we're going to send Smith down to Texas to kind of like take over the whole area, while our 2 small divisions will hold here. We have our other division that is basically on the way. So it's going to take a little bit of time to get there, and this kind of moving into Texas is our first step, but we're going to go ahead and send the generals to kind of get them a head start to helping out there. Now, as far as recruitment and decisions go, let's take a look at what we're recruiting. We're basically, in Richmond, we're going to be recruiting a couple medical units and a couple marine units, in addition to a small brigade with a sharpshooter unit. We're doing a complete recruitment of all partisans and mounted partisans. They do not take any war supply, which I will comment on that in a minute. And I kind of comment on a few of those other things that we're recruiting, which are basically this very small infantry brigades. We do have a good stockpile of infantry regiments, 20, as you can see, and 25 militia as well. So we're pretty good with replacements. We're making a lot of decisions this turn, including increasing the rail pool, requisitioning river transports, doing the absolute maximum on premium for volunteers. So a few pretty important decisions there. Moving over to objectives, you can see that the Union morale is at 98 and ours is at 64, with the Union having a very, very significant gain by victory points, 70 versus our 23. Now, when you hover over our national morale, you'll see that we lost 10 through the last turn. That was through the Third Conscription Act, but we did gain 4 by the will to fight and basically kind of like just national resilience. Now, last turn we played a whole bunch of cards, mainly requisitioning supplies. This turn we're going to be playing more cards, primarily at causing demonstrations in some of the key Confederate objective towns of New Orleans and Nashville, which will lower the Union loyalty there and increase our loyalty. Right now we're currently at 29% loyalty. So you can see there's the demonstration card. Those are basically kind of like the main highlights. So the plan is to hopefully strategically defend in Virginia. We're going to definitely try to hold what we have in North Carolina, Charleston, and Savannah. Use the terrain with our advantage here in Georgia. Be prepared to defend against the river crossing in Alabama, and then use our navy, which I'm hoping that our opponent will not expect, to blockade river crossings here. Not sure what to do with forests at the moment, but we, in addition to kind of having forests on the ready, we're doing that complete recruitment of all partisans who would be sent to basically cut Union rail and attempt to destroy depots. There were some questions about Texas, and Texas is a really interesting place because I think you can see it better here. In some of these areas, you can move from region to region in one day. So we're going to have the idea is basically to have a very, very fast force and come up here and start to try to pick off some of these lonely Union forts. And then, if all goes well, hopefully we can really even take back an objective town like El Paso, which is currently pretty well defended. But we will see what happens. So that's kind of like the general situation. I guess really more general. That's like some really details in the current situation and the general thoughts. Okay, see you next time.